Hi, and welcome to helpyourmath.com. Welcome to the complex numbers multiplication component of the video series set. So here we have another series of 3 problems for the multiplication component of complex numbers. And again, remember, all your answers should be coming in standard form where you have the number plus the complex term. So it's going to be a number plus the imaginary number, all right? Also keeping in mind the value of I squared is -1, and the square root of -1 is also I, all right? Let's begin with the first problem up here. Now here we have for A, we have -2i in parentheses being squared. And whenever we see something like this, what we want to consider is that everything inside the parentheses is being expanded, and it's becoming 2 of them. So here we have -2i times -2i. And the first thing that happens in this case is a negative times a negative gives us a positive, right? So we have a positive. 2 times 2 makes 4. And I times I makes I squared. And again, remembering that I squared is equivalent to -1, we do a simple substitution in here. We're going to substitute the value of -1 directly for I squared. And when we do this, we're going to have a positive 4 times a -1, which gives us a -4. Right? So our solution for the first problem here is -4. In the second set, we have a binomial times a binomial, which we have 1 plus 3i's times 1 minus 4i's. And the important thing to think of here is that we're foiling. But lucky, I don't like to determine too much of my multiplication through binomial foiling. What I like to do is to ungroup the first 2 terms, in which I take the 1 and the positive 3i's, and I separate them so that I can multiply them against the second term separately. So here I have 1 minus 4i, and here I have 1 minus 4i's. And here I'm going to have 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times -4i is -4i. Then I have 3i's times 1, positive 3i's. Positive 3i's times -4i's are -12i squareds. Now here we see that the 2 middle terms are alike, and we also see that the I is squared, which means the I squared gives us -1. So let's start by combining the 2 i's together right here. And we have 1, -4i's plus 3i's, 2 different signs. We know we're subtracting. 4 take away 3 is 1, and we keep the sign of the larger one. So it becomes 1i, which is just -i. And finally, the -12 has I squared next to it, and I squared becomes a -1. So again, let's finish this off. Let me move this problem a little bit down here. And here we're going to have 1, take away I, negative times negative is positive, 12 times 1 is 12. So here we have a 1, a 12 makes 13, and we want to keep this in the front because of the standard form. We want to keep the I term at the end. So we have 13 take away I as our final solution for that problem. Now finally we have another one that's just like the first, even though they look different. This is a binomial. This was just a perfect square. Here we're going to do the same exact thing. We want to take the term and we want to expand it by putting 2 of them next to each other, right? So we have 2 take away 5i to the second power. Oh, whoa, times itself. So sorry about that. Now, again, instead of foiling, we're just going to ungroup the first term, split this into 2, and multiply each one times the 2 take away 5i. So we have 2 multiplying, and then we have the -5i, that's the ungroup. Then we're going to plug in the second term here, next to each one of these. All right? So we have 2 take away 5i in each set of parentheses. This way it makes it a little easier. You don't have to kill yourself trying to know what the FOIL method will produce. This way you could see your production. So we have 4. 2 times -5i's is -10i's. Here we have -5i times 2 again, -10i's. And finally, -5i times -5i again. That's negative by negative is positive. 5 by 5, 25, and I by I squared. So now we'll combine like terms, the 2 I terms, and we'll fix this I squared value. So we have 4, combining these 2, we get -20i's, and then we have 25. Substitute the I squared value for -1, and we can simplify -25 with 4. That gives us 4 minus 20i's minus 25. And finally, what we want to do with this is simplify it, right? So let me just wash back some of this way. And 4 with negative 25 is going to give us negative 21 minus 20i's. And here's the solution for that problem. Remembering that the number goes first and the complex number goes second. All right?